But my friends at my new school, like I went away to Chicago, away from all but two people from my high school. I thought that would be like a really clean start. Like I'd be able to kind of put everything behind me. No one would have known me as like the pudgy fifth grader or the anorexic or anything like that. So I was really wanting to take full advantage of having this like new identity. But it quickly became like my vegetarianism kind of became my identifier. I was still exercising a lot. I started going to the gym really early before, like once it opened, before classes. I was pretty much eating the same thing day in and day out. My vegetarianism just like, I wasn't doing it well. I was really restrictive on like what vegetables I could eat, and I was really against certain things that, like if you do a good vegetarian diet, are like crucial. So you can get all of the other, like you can get protein and all the other food groups that you need. I liked that people thought I was really active and that I ate really healthy. When I went home for the summer after freshman year, I lifeguarded again, and that just kind of gave me an excuse to be gone all day. And I didn't want to eat when I was actually lifeguarding, so I would tell my mom that I was taking food or that people brought in food or things like that. So like over the summer is when it kind of like my eating sort of like kind of grabbed back hold of me. By the time I went back for sophomore year, I was really just kind of, I was using drinking as an excuse to eat. I'd only eat if I knew I was drinking that night, which is a really bad thing to do. But I was really just like taking a toll. It was really just taking a toll on myself. When I studied abroad in Italy, after like the spring semester, I got so sick of pasta after like 1 week that it became really easy and accessible for me to be vegetarian, because during orientation week we could just say we were vegetarian and they would just bring us the same thing, and it was a caprese salad and I knew I would eat that. So my diet really changed while I was there, and my vegetarianism just kind of evolved to only including like tomatoes and cucumbers and balsamic vinegar pretty much. So it was, and a lot of wine, which was bad combination. And I started running a lot more there. It's really sad that I let my eating disorder kind of take over my studying abroad experience, because when I could have been going around Italy with my friends or going out, which I did go out, but there were so many opportunities that I missed because I told myself that I had to go run, that I had to be in the gym, like in the basement on a treadmill for like 2 hours, or running around the streets of Italy, which is not as common there. And I just really missed out on seeing a lot of things and experience things with my friends, because I didn't want to try new foods because I was afraid of how they made them, or like gaining weight while I was studying abroad. I used running around the Vatican as an excuse because I just wanted to say I could run around the country, but really I was just wanting my eating disorder to have an outlet while I was still there that was acceptable. And after that semester I transferred here to K-State, and while a lot of my friends from high school went to K-State, and the girl that I dated senior year of high school was here, I didn't really feel like reconnecting with a lot of people or making the effort to forge my own like relationships. So running became like my best and also worst friend. I talked to some of my friends and would see them like on the weekends, but any free time I had was kind of spent running, because I didn't know what to do while I was here or who to talk to, really. I didn't really think that my friends that I was friends with in high school necessarily wanted me to kind of like get back in touch with them. So I really started running a lot more in all the free time that I had if I wasn't studying, which I've always cared a lot about school and have always put that first, but socially I was just like really excluding myself and withdrawing and isolating, and I like rationalized it any way that I could. Wanted to develop my identity as a runner and a vegetarian. Like those quickly became like what I thought my life was. 2 summers ago I decided that I was going to train for a half marathon or a marathon, which was just kind of an excuse for me to run more and have it be okay, because people would ask me why I was running, if I was like training for something, and when I said no, they kind of questioned why I was running so much and said that I should probably not do it. So I gave myself a reason. I made myself run every day. When I was lifeguarding and it was like 100 degrees out, I was running for like hours. My mom and other family members would kind of hint that I needed to make sure I was eating more, but I just really started lying to everyone again about if I was taking food to work, if I ate breakfast. I was telling people I wasn't running as much as I was, or that I had skipped some days running to kind of justify the behaviors. By the time I came back to school last year, running wasn't really an option for me. It wasn't like a matter of wanting to or not. It was something that I had to do every day that determined how I felt about myself, and it just kind of controlled me. So last year I was enrolled in 20 hours, and if I wasn't studying in the library, I was out running for at least like 12 miles a day, up to like 20 on average. And I remember one time I got lost on a trail and ended up running like almost 30 miles. I couldn't keep my like mental functionings, and like mental processes really started deteriorating. Tests I was studying for became a lot harder. I couldn't recall things. I was passing up seeing my girlfriend who lived less than a mile away from me till the weekends. I just always made excuses as to why I couldn't hang out or do anything, so I was really sacrificing a lot just for the sake of running, I guess. And the biggest red flag I had last year was in September. I was out running and I coughed up blood while I was running, and I was really caught off guard and scared. I knew that you're not supposed to cough up blood. I continued running, not as far as I wanted to. I was really upset that it happened because I couldn't finish my route that I had. But I got home and called my mom. I had this like uncontrollable cough. She told me that I needed to go to the hospital like right away to get that checked out. So I went to Lafine, which was luckily like right by my house, and I had chest x-rays and blood work and all these things done. And when I was weighed, I realized that I knew I had lost weight from where I would have been or where I was at the beginning of the semester. And I had a scale but didn't really weigh myself all that much until the doctor's appointment, and I was like really caught off guard by how low the number was, because it was where I was senior year when I went to treatment the first time. I didn't expect it to be that low, so I was a little bit scared. Everything checked up fine otherwise, but I had to start seeing the doctor like every week. My mom encouraged me to go to counseling services. It was good to like talk things through again, because I hadn't been seeing my therapist or anyone for a while. I wasn't making the effort outside of those appointments. Last year, I think November 9th or so around this time, one of my friends from grade school passed away. He was one of my best friends when I was like really little, but we weren't really close after high school. Kind of got involved in different crowds, and he was always hanging out with like his soccer buddies and things like that. We went to different colleges, so we weren't that close after 8th grade, but I always considered him one of my good friends. And when my girlfriend told me that he had passed away, I was overcome with like a lot of guilt, mostly because I felt that like for some reason it really should have been me, even though I had like no part in it or anything like that, or we weren't like even that close anymore. But I just felt like his life was cut short, and he had a lot more going for him than I did. At that point, I just really shut down emotionally, stopped trying at all, and was basically only eating if I thought. I was only eating before I ran so I wouldn't pass out, which I'm really surprised I am very lucky that I never did. But yeah, after I heard that my friend passed away, I'd been talking to the counseling services, the therapist that I had been seeing here. I expressed concern like for myself, like because after I went to the doctor that first time, I started weighing myself again like really frequently. I had like one of those high-tech scales that like tells you like your whole body composition and everything like that, but because my body fat had dropped below like the detection mark or whatever, the threshold, and so basically scale that I spent so much money on was only telling me one thing, which was my weight, which was like, I don't know, the number of my weight wasn't really my motivating factor anymore. It was more just obsession with visible body fat and getting that as low as possible so that muscle definition would be greater, and I was just like obsessed with what muscles and bones were visible. I measured myself daily, and I don't know, I was just completely consumed by it all. I started talking to different treatment centers because I basically told her that I gave up, that I wasn't going to try to do it on my own. I was just I felt defeated. I just really wasn't willing to make the effort to change what I needed to on my own. So at Thanksgiving break, I had to drop out or withdraw from all of my classes, and I went to treatment in Denver, Colorado at the Eating Recovery Center.